Hi friends, I am very happy to stand before you for today's class. Okay, class 7 and social studies and section politics and lesson 24. Lesson title is the story of the democracy. And there are two parts we already completed from the political, the same lesson 24. And now today we are going to deal with some other topic, the Renaissance and the democracy in England. These two topics we will discuss because it's a vast subject, and I think you will not get the clear picture if you are continuing all together, all the lessons, all the topics together. If you are dealing with today, you may not get the clear picture about this lesson. That purposely, I just want to deal with the two topics only by today, and maybe one more episode we will complete this lesson. So, first of all, once again, I would like to welcome for the online class of Kerala Public School, Araria, Bihar. And once again, I urge you that you cast your attention towards me to listen carefully, and you will get the clear picture of these lessons. And there are a few topics we discussed, maybe what is democracy, and the definition of the democracy, everything I explained, and the history of the democracy, and birth of the democracy in Greece, and also Europe in the Middle Ages. That also, these are topics we discussed by last two episodes. This is the third episode from this lesson, and let's learn together. And you have to, I just invite your attention towards page number 185. Open your textbook, page number 185, and while I'm explaining, you give your attention towards me to understand the topics very clearly. Okay? Thank you. Let's shall we start our lessons right now. Now, we have to learn about the Renaissance. And what do you mean by Renaissance? And this word may be not that much familiar to you. And so, I will explain very clearly this maybe Renaissance. The meaning of the Renaissance is meaning. The word Renaissance simply means rebirth. Listen carefully. The word Renaissance, this term is maybe not that much familiar to you. That purposely I am saying that meaning is rebirth. Rebirth you understand. Birth you understand. Rebirth you can understand. Maybe you are believing there are so many people believing the Hinduism, you can understand that was the rebirth. There's a beliefs in Hinduism that's called rebirth. So otherwise in Hindi they are saying moksha. Moksha prapt karna, that's the rebirth. So this understanding maybe almost all the Hindu people, they are familiar with this word. But in English, this term you may not understand. That what I explained. Renaissance means rebirth. Okay, now here we can understand that the Renaissance means rebirth, and mainly when we deal with this word with the democracy, and there will be particular aims are there, and mainly this aim I will explain. And before that, this idea came to in history that 14th and 15th centuries CE, that I explained century CE. I already mentioned the other class name is Common Era. Okay, that's the CE means Common Era. 14th to 15th centuries. 14th to 15th centuries. Okay, maybe the Renaissance came near the 14th to the 15th centuries. The Renaissance means that rebirth. Okay, that understanding you already got from me, and maybe it's aimed at so many aims are there. So we have to understand the aims. Mainly, this topic mentioned there to recapture the spirit of the classical Greece and Rome. Okay, mainly the Renaissance because to recapture, maybe you listen carefully, not capture, recapture the spirit of the classical Greece. Maybe the spirit of the classical Greece is already over, that may be over, maybe years back. So they want to recapture it. Maybe the spirit of the classical of Greece and Rome. That purposely they had their own reliance in 14th and the 50th centuries. Now, there will be, because of the Renaissance, there will be so many results we are able to see in the history, and especially we can see a few, maybe the results I will explain right now. And the development of the literature, painting, sculptures, art, and political realm also, we will see some developments. You know, because the Renaissance came in the 14th and 15th century, there will be so many developments are there. Which are the areas? Even the literature. Okay, literature, and also painting, then sculpture, art, and in politics. Okay, so because of the Renaissance came on the 14th and 15th century, there will be so many developments are there. Which are the areas we are able to see the development? Point number one, the literature area, literature. In literature areas, we can see the developments, and also in painting. Those days we can have so many different type of paintings are there, even Turkish different type of paintings, European different type of paintings are there, and Indian, the road paintings are there, cave paintings are there, and these are the areas also so many development we found. And the sculpture, people used to make the sculptures, and there also we found with the developments, and art, the area of the art of the science, this area also we can see so many developments, and also in political realm also we can see that developments because of the Renaissance. Maybe these are the literature, painting, sculptures, art, and also finally for the politics. These are all realms. We can understand that because of this Renaissance, there will be they came to the 14th to the 15th centuries. We can have different type of developments in the history, and we can understand when we are going out for reading. Reaching development is the emergence of city-states. You know that there will be a far-reaching development is the emergence of city-states. You know those cities. You know I already explained about the city-state. There will be, and those days you know that, and 5th to 6th centuries we can understand that maybe especially in Europe there will be city-state, a small area city, and the people gathering together. They gather together and they are making their own laws. And that those time I explained that even the slaves, women, and foreigners are excluded. This information I have given the early classes, and the rest of all the noble people, they used to gather together in a city, particular area, and they are deciding, they are making their own laws to govern them. So they are making their own laws. They gather together, and almost all the nobles, and they are making their own laws. That I already explained. So that time, the democracy is that's one of the examples of the democracy. That means that the full democratical maybe the contribution we are unable to see over there, but we are see just like the glimpses of the democracy in the city-states. That emergence of the maybe that was the emergence, far-reaching development is the emergent city-states, and then we can see that. And there are some examples I can give you. Even Italian provinces like Venice that emerged together. Okay, different city-state emerged together in Venice. That's an example. And again, we are going ahead. We can understand that a republican form of the government existed, where the base was merchants and trading class. You know that this time maybe the republican form of the government existed, and the basis of merchant and trading class. Even the ordinary people are excluded, but maybe somehow economically and different areas are developed people only gathered there. And you know that the republican form of the government existed where the base of merchants and trading class only. Then we can understand that elections were held and the leaders were appointed for the limited period of time. And this time, especially maybe this centuries, we discussed that, and the elections were held and the leaders were appointed for a limited period of time. And there will be time bounds are there. Time bounds, that means for the years. For example, India, 5 years are there for the central government. You know that the same way, they also had their own time bounds are there. Maybe particular time period was there with those people. And we can understand the city states act as a precursor of the democratic institutions. And also, more than that, we are getting information. In Europe, kings were able to unite the people under their centralized rule. You know that time kings also ruling there, and with the government, democratic system also there, and the both is the government and also the kings, they have their own powers are there. And here mentioned that the king of the Europe were able to unite people under the centralized rule. You know that kings are trying to bring all the people under the central government rule. Now, one more thing we are getting from there, the people were unhappy with this church, and the peace and stability were required for the democratic to flourish. So, to flourishment of the democracy, we can understand that there will be peace and the stability. These two things are enabled for the democratical situations. So, the people are there in the 14th century, they are unhappy with the church and their own methodologies. And you know that even the kings were there, the democratic reform, glimpses of the democracy was there, and both kings are, and also the government also having the different limited powers are there, and there was a time bound. These are the information, mainly we are getting the Renaissance. Actually, Renaissance, that means, the meaning of Renaissance is rebirth. And that's the century, the common century, that century means CE means common era, I already explained, and that common era, the 14th to 15th centuries. And these are the stories we have seen so many developments are there, literature areas, and painting, sculptures, art, and finally in the politics realm also we are able to see different type of developments that we can see from those paragraphs. Now that's the only understanding about the Renaissance, and we have to go ahead about the democracy in England. Okay, so this topic we have to go ahead, democracy in England. Okay, democracy in England. Here we will get a few more information about democracy, and mainly we can understand that the significant milestone in the development of the democracy was a document called the Magna Carta. We are able to learn about the Magna Carta that mentioned that's one of the democratic main document, and 12-15 centuries in England. Okay, mainly we are able to see about the Magna Carta. Magna Carta, then 1215. See, okay. So maybe the developments of the democratic system in England, we are able to understand that they made one of the laws, and for the democratic system that's called Magna Carta. That's mainly talks about the rules and regulations, just like the Constitution, and that held in 1215, otherwise 1215 centuries. Now, it was passed in 1215 centuries in England. It paved the way of the creation of the law and the making body called Parliament. So, through the Magna Carta, they have made just like a Parliament because the complete rules and regulations are there. And you know that these nobles of the England forced to regain the monarch of the time, the King John, to sign the historic document which stated that written laws held a higher power than the king. You know that this time kings also ruling there, and they have made even the government system also there, elected people also there. There will be a town bounds are there for the government. Everything is there. The king also having the power, at the same time the government also having the power. So both, there will be some confusions. But people are not happy with the church also. You know that almost all the people of the England now, they wish to have the democracy, the total democracy in England, but king also ruling there. And because of the Magna Carta, 1215, otherwise 1215 centuries, they have made these rules and created different type of laws for the government and also for the parliament. This information we are getting from this democracy in England. And you know that even the made the Magna Carta, even the king also they signed, okay, they are agreed with the rules and regulations which is mentioned the Magna Carta, even the kings also agreed with that. And you know, because of that king's agreement, what has happened here? The influence of the parliament increased gradually. You know that? Because the Magna Carta, even king John also, King John, okay, he also signed and he has agreed with the Magna Carta, the rules and regulation which is already mentioned. Because of that, automatically, gradually, we can say gradually, not only 1 day, 2 day, 1 month, 2 months, but it is gradually, power of the king became decreased and the power of the government became, okay, essentially they got much power than the king. That's the understanding we have to get from this paragraph. And that maybe the 1628 up to these are the time we are getting the understanding about even the king's power automatically became decreased and the government, otherwise the Magna Carta, otherwise the parliament power increased. So what happened because of these changes? While the former ensured that king could not impose taxes without the permission of the parliament. That one of the important things you have to keep in your mind that because now the king's power decreased and the government, otherwise the parliament power increased, because of that the king directly, he cannot say that he cannot argue to the people that to pay the taxes to the king, okay, because that power also came to the parliament. I here very clearly mentioned that while the former ensured that the king could not impose, he cannot impose the power, others the taxes without the permission of the parliament. If the parliament giving the permission to the king only, he is imposed the taxes to the government, to the people. You understand that? Because this only one idea, you have a clear picture about that. The king's completely power decreased. You are getting the information. You get the information that the king's power decreased because that now the king directly unable to impose, others ask the tax for the government, but the government, others the parliament giving the permission. After the permission from the parliament only, the king can ask about the tax and everything. And these step were are significant. They can diminish the power of the king. And automatically, mainly the parliament think that they decided that automatically they want to reduce the power of the king. Because king also that the same time parliament also working together as the two different things. You know that? And automatically because of the Magna Carta, because of the parliament system, after the 12-15 centuries, we understand that maybe the power of the king decreased. Because of that, directly the king cannot maybe impose the taxes and he is unable to ask the tax to the people and without the permission of the parliament. And another thing that these steps were significant as they diminished the power of the king. The idea that the king was not overpowered was accountable to an elected body of the representative was born. You know that maybe the people are selecting and electing the representatives and they are the greater than the kings. This understanding, almost all the people of England, they came to understand that and now we people are selecting our own governing body. So these bodies are important than the king. And king is something else, and there was a time king had enough power, but now we can understand that the parliament have enough power because the king's power completely diminished or decreased. So what happened here? Kings automatically and without the permission of the parliament can't do anything for the people. That's the situation came. That was understanding we are getting from the democracy in England. So I already explained that. And maybe the democracy in England because kingship was there, and also automatically because of the Magna Carta, this system, maybe the parliament system also came, and parliament got more power than the king, so king's power completely decreased. Automatically, gradually that became decreased, and the parliament's power became increased. So without the permission of the parliament, king can't do anything with the people, and he is unable to ask even tax from the people without the permission of the parliament. And automatically we can understand that king's power completely decreased. That is the information we are getting in the democracy in the England. Okay, so Renaissance I already explained, and the point number 2, the democracy in England, that also explained very clearly. I hope that you understand about these 2 topics, and maybe there are 3 more topics are there. Maybe the next part 4 episode I will complete this lesson, and you will get the complete picture about this lesson. About lesson 24, the story of the democracy. So I would like to wind up today's class by this topic, the democracy in England. And the next class we can see the rest of the topic and we will get a clear picture about the complete lesson 24. Then till then, thank you very much. God bless you all.